Roger, roger.
It's unfair.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? So here's a cool little video that I want to cover. We all know the clones, and we all know in that faction were the elite of the elite. The Navy SEALs, so to speak, of the clones themselves. These guys were called the 501st Legion. They followed Anakin Skywalker, who led the march to the temple during Order 66 and helped burn it to the ground. They were loyal to Anakin, and when Vader became the machined monster that we all know in the suit, they were no longer known as the 501st, but now known as Vader's Fist. However, there was another Legion, and these guys were in a few episodes of the animated series of the Clone Wars, the very first ones that came out in the early 2000s, during the Clone Wars. These clones were solely dedicated to another Jedi Master, one who many believe was the true chosen one, none other than Jedi Master Mace Windu. Now, these clones were pretty cool. They didn't have a blue stripe on their armor like the 501st did, but rather a purple mark, symbolizing their loyalty and allegiance to Mace and his purple lightsaber. Now, for those who don't know, Mace used a purple lightsaber, which was basically blue and red put together because he harnessed the light side of the Force and the dark side. The battalion, the Legion, the Corps were known as the 187th. They were much more of a corporal's unit, however, many, including Hasbro themselves, when they made the toys, called them Mace's Legion. And they began as one of the smaller units during the Clone Wars, but as the 187th grew in size towards the end of the war, they became much more distinguished among the rest of the Grand Army of the Republic. Because of Mace Windu being one of the first Jedi to be killed just before Order 66, most troops in his battalion disobeyed the order, because most didn't receive it from him. Therefore, the Corps turned into a team of rogue clone troopers fighting against the 501st Legion. Now, of course, they eventually all pretty much died out, but I'm wondering, what would have happened if Mace taught these clones the ways of a lightsaber? Kinda like Grievous, but just in the ways of Mace's fighting style, which was Vapad. The 7th form, super aggressive and acrobatic. Could they have held up against the 501st and Anakin in at least some way, maybe freeing some more Jedi in the process? That'd have been pretty cool to see. Now, Vader did teach a stormtrooper once how to use a lightsaber. However, obviously without the Force, a lightsaber is just a sword, and a very dangerous one at that, not just to the enemy, but the wielder himself. The Force would allow one to know the path of their blade much more surely than if they weren't attuned to it. Maybe in the new comics they'll bring some clones back, or something like that, as a way to pay homage, or maybe an Easter egg, since they know we love them that much. Anyways, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this fun video, and I will see you all in the next episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember,
The Force will be with you always.